Okay. Do you know what? Young Turks continue to surprise me. This one irritated me when it happened. The title of the video is again Emma Roberts bites boyfriend ? Mostly because people started denying that it was a bite mark. Evan Peters didn't press charges. People were online going, "Oh, if she was my girlfriend, I'd let her beat the hell out of me." No, you wouldn't. Let's be honest with each other here. No, you wouldn't. You would. You'd be beating her ass back, right? This is such a very beautiful, very flattering pause frame. Well done. And there's one point that I don't agree with, and you'll see it when I get to it. I'll put it off. Like, this video is only 6 minutes long, so I can't imagine it being as long as the Mattress Girl one. I've just got this software, so I'm going mental with all the videos that I've always wanted to comment on, but never truly did. Okay. In this one, they're talking about it's like a Rihanna situation, and they also talk about her bruises. But I challenge you to find any definitive bruise. Like I had bigger bruises from bumping into things. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Okay, pardon me. And let's go. Okay, this is embarrassing.
Emma Roberts is the niece of Julia Roberts, and on July 7th, she got arrested in Montreal for domestic violence against her boyfriend, Evan Peters. Now, when authorities showed up to the scene, they said that his nose was bleeding, and there were also reports that he had a bite mark on him, although her friends are denying that. And the police report indicates...
First of all, of course, her friends would deny it. Second of all, someone else called the police. Very important distinction to make. Someone else called the police. Which means that whatever was going on was huge. You know what? See if you have a tiff in a hotel room. They don't care. If you're shouting and screaming and beating someone up, yes, they care.
Indicates that someone within the hotel, or a third party, I should say, reported this to the police, and that's why they showed up to the scene. Now, she was... under custody for a short period of time, and then authorities let her go. It turns out that Evan Peters is not planning...
First of all, I should point out that Evan Peters is my age. I'm 28 years old. Evan Peters is close to my age. Emma Roberts is quite a bit younger. Guess what? I don't think she's matured.
On filing any charges against her. But then, about a week after that incident occurred, she was seen in...
By the way, I'm going to hit you with an unpopular opinion. Emma Roberts is a one-trick pony, and she's not even very good at what she does.
Public with bruises all over her legs, and now people are questioning that and wondering whether it was, mutual domestic...
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! I had worse bruises from doing a play. I've had worse bruises from a night out. I've had worse bruises than that just kneeling down. Let's not play about like he was like she was actually sinking the teeth into him, and he was slapping her on the face like enough to make those bruises. Let's not play that, okay?
Violence, and they were basically getting into a fight together.
All right, let me ask a controversial question of the guys. If a guy calls in a domestic violence call, which he didn't in this case, it was someone else in the hotel who did it, do you think any less of him? Keep it real. Keep it real.
Now, Cenk asked them to keep it real. And one of them keeps it real. And the other one keeps it real as well. But they've completely different answers. Like, listen.
And maybe you don't.
Keeping it real, yes.
You do.
Keeping it real, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
So if a man is being domestically abused and he calls the police on his wife, this man would think less of him. Now, I don't know whether he would think less of him because he's getting bullied or beaten up. And I don't know if he'd think less of him just because he couldn't deal with it himself. But see, here's the thing, men are caught between a rock and a hard place. For the first point, people say, oh, you shouldn't let a woman put her hands on you. You're bigger than her, you're stronger than her. Defend yourself. And on the other hand, when he does defend himself, he's painted out to be the bully. And I'll do another video on the double standard of men hitting women versus women hitting men at a later date. But men don't know what to do because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. So they don't know what to do because they don't want to break the hive mind.
Okay, JR, thoughts?
Less of him, no, because I don't think he's less of a, like, I guess, quote, man. I think maybe he could have done something else. Again, I'm not blaming. It's hard, such a hard line to toe because you never know the situation.
I should point out that in actuality, see, if you were to look up men's shelters, you would find very, very little to go on. Hold on a second. I think we can do this together. Help for Men, Refuge. See, this is how much it gets to there. Battered men get their own refuge. Society, The Guardian. Britain's first safe house for battered men is to open in secret over the new year. The refuge in southwest England will shelter men and their children who have been physically or emotionally abused by a female partner. A second centre will open early next year in the northwest of England, and organisers plan to create a national network eventually. Pardon me. The revelation of the refuges is likely to ignite the debate over the true picture of domestic violence, which men's support groups say is far more complex than often portrayed in the media. According to the most recent British Crime Survey for 1996, 4.2% of men and an equal proportion of women said they had been assaulted by a current or formal partner in the previous year. You see, this is just... See, if you get a chance, look up Erin Pizzey, because that is exactly what Erin Pizzey said. Erin Pizzey said that the men who are abused remember just as greatly as women who are abused, and that something needed to be done for the men. She was hounded. She had her life threatened. She had everything done to her. Like look her up, honestly. Now back to this.
How people really think, and what kind of abuse is it? Mm-hmm. Is it emotional abuse? I mean, men can be emotionally abused.
Yes, men can be emotionally abused, but in this instance, we're not talking emotional abuse. We're talking physical.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't call that it. No, I'll draw the line right there, and I won't have any questions.
There is definitely emotional abuse. Like, let's say there's a married couple, they're divorcing, and a woman purposely prevents her husband from seeing the children. That's emotional abuse.
No.
So that
There's
exists.
definitely emotional abuse, and probably plenty of it.
Exactly.
You just can't call it into 911.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's like, oh my gosh, she's emotionally abusing me. I mean, I don't know what to say to you, bro. right?
So you think less of a man if he's getting beaten by his wife and he calls 911?
I guess it means the kind of beating. Like if she sneaks up behind you with a weapon, she can mess you up pretty good.
Trust me, women don't need a weapon to. There goes another email. Trust me, women don't need a weapon to abuse men physically. Women definitely don't. Mostly what women use are the words. If I really, 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 really wanted to, really, 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 really let my tongue loose, I could destroy people. Absolutely destroy them. However, I've had my life almost destroyed purposefully because of people's words. So I wouldn't want to put that on anyone else. So yeah, that happened. But what Cenk's saying, right, you can't take emotional abuse to a court of law. You can't. Women can't either. That's something that I'm happy to note. Is that women are not able to take this to a thing. But like I said, the first domestic violence shelter for battered men, and that was when 21st December 2003. So just about 12 years. The first shelter for battered women. Hold on. Good old Wikipedia. Was built in 1877. Let's just put that into perspective, okay, right? Domestic violence shelters for women have been around since 1877. Domestic violence shelters for men have been around since 2013. And oftentimes, domestic violence shelters will turn boys away if they're 15 years or older, because they don't want the women to feel uncomfortable. So a child then goes back into that environment. And sad to say, it largely ends up with the father calling the mother a bitch, a cow, etc., etc., who left me, who ran away and left me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, on with it.
I mean, look, if she
See how long.
But you're thinking like the guy can generally he can get away from the situation if she's physically with hands trying to beat you.
It depends on if there's weapons. Yeah. Now look, so your wife or your girlfriend comes up and starts stabbing you. What are you going to do, right? Go 911, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot, and there could be a size disparity. Keep it real. And I'm not.
I don't know if Cenk is familiar with the Duluth model. I'm sorry, I just got this image of him going crystal ball just at this pause, but just a crystal ball. I see you making a stupid statement. But yeah, I don't know if Cenk is familiar with the Duluth model, but it basically says that the primary aggressor is the person that is bigger and stronger. Guess who campaigned for that to be implemented? Third wave feminists. Oh, and I'll do a webcam video of my journey with feminism. Because I did used to be a feminist. But yeah, on with it. I don't know if I'll... Let me just... to the next important point.
All of a sudden it's acceptable for people to beat each other up.
Actually, here it is. Go back a wee bit. This is where she starts to talk about Rihanna, Chris Brown.
But you know what? If you go to check it yourself, you're probably going to cause more damage.
Of course, and I feel like the angry country, and no one's really talking about what we can do to help fix it or at least solve it to some extent. The most constructive angle, because obviously there's some issue with domestic violence in the country, and no one's really talking about what we can do to help fix it or at least solve it to some extent.
I would have to disagree here because they're most definitely talking about domestic violence. They're just not talking about domestic violence as balanced as it is in society. Like, for example, if men try to talk about it, they get shot down, they get told they're part of the patriarchy, yada yada, yada yada, big red, everything like that. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and I know what feminists will say, because they'll say, but Big Red read out a whole list of problems that men were facing and showed how they related to patriarchy. No, she didn't. She just read out the list of the grievances, and then screamed, patriarchy, 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 patriarchy. I love that song. Sorry. Yeah, it's not balanced. It's not balanced. The world needs to start being balanced in its approach to domestic violence. We need to talk about how females believe that they can get away with it by virtue of them being females, etc., etc. It's ridiculous how biased problems like rape and domestic violence are in the social discourse. Anyway, on with the story.
A few years ago, you had the notorious Chris Brown, Rihanna situation, and now you have another celebrity couple that's obviously going through some sort of physical altercation that they shouldn't be going through.
Yeah. I mean, the only difference between Rihanna and Chris Brown and Evan Peters and Emma Roberts is that Emma Roberts and Evan Peters took place in a hotel, and Rihanna and Chris Brown took place in a car.
So instead of having conversations about like, oh, did Rihanna deserve it? Are men wimps or pussies if they get beaten up by their girlfriends? We should have a discussion about why all of a sudden it's acceptable for people to beat each other up like this, and it becomes public and we focus on other things.
No. Well, first of all, no one thinks it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, or no decent person thinks it's acceptable.
Yeah, Cenk had to catch himself there. He said nobody thinks it's acceptable, or any decent person thinks it's acceptable. Yeah, there's people out there that think that domestic violence against any gender is okay.
And second of all, the reason to have this conversation is so that people can go back and go, wait, why do I think less of him? That doesn't seem quite right. Mm-hmm. You know, and hash that out. And in this case, don't get me wrong, when I say check her yourself, doesn't mean you go attack her. That's a terrible, terrible idea. Right, but, you know, our gut instinct, I feel like, as a man, that I want to be able to get control of that situation without having to call for backup, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's a normal reaction to have. I don't think...
Yeah, everybody's got this normal reaction where you want to go and hold back somebody that's going crazy. But to be quite honest with you, that's dangerous for yourself, because you're just turning the attention on yourself. And if she's mad enough, she will actually beat you up instead of him. Pardon me, do you know what I mean? I mean, women can be just as vicious as men. Sometimes more vicious. I live in Glasgow. I know firsthand about how vicious women can get.
It makes you a monster or like a terrible person. On the other hand, you're not supposed to judge other people. You don't know their situation, and you don't know...
Exactly. I'll let Cenk finish what he said, you don't know, and then I'll skip it to the end, because what he said at the end is really important.
What happened there, so I don't want to judge, and at the same time, I want to be cognizant of what people are feeling and get beyond it.
So what do you think?
Yep, I'm going to skip right to the end. to about here. And if I find something that is important, I will skip back to it.
Away with it. JR called it at the time. He was totally right. Everyone forgot about it and moved on. In fact, at the time that the story broke, people were blaming Rihanna for getting beaten up.
And now, double that for Evan Peters.
Yeah.
Right? So he...
Yay! Hallelujah! 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 Cenk's on fire. Right? Cenk is on fire. First of all, Emma Solkowitz, he doesn't believe her. Doesn't believe her right away. And then Emma Roberts and Evan Peters, he says that although Rihanna got blamed for being beaten up by Chris Brown, Evan Peters is getting it double. Yes. Yes, Papa, yes.
Gets assaulted, and then now there's a lot of people online talking about, like, oh, I got beat up by a girl. Right? That ain't right, you know.
I don't know what it is. The Young Turks are just on fire. On fire. So, yeah, this is Liz signing off. Goodbye.